The pandemic seems to me to have picked some winners and losers. I mean, it's pretty clear when it comes to health issues. Some catch COVID and never see a symptom, and some wind up in the hospital. In our jobs, many folks get to stay home, log in, and conduct a relatively normal business day, while others have lost a job, a business, or even an industry. In the spirit of trying to stay positive, though, I see these times as having provided a relief valve as well. Where some doors have closed, others have opened. Like for me, having the time to do this podcast. So as we head into Thanksgiving week, be thankful for what you have. Be positive that all of this will someday pass. And wear a damn mask and stay safe, okay? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Originally from the Philadelphia area, Matthew Cooperstein transplanted to Los Angeles in 2006 to work for the LA Weekly. He has 15 years experience in media and marketing and is currently in digital marketing sales for V Digital Services, a part of the Voice Media Group. Hi Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So tell the folks on the podcast a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I live in Redondo Beach, California. I am into music and art and the beach and the outdoors. And I also, from a career perspective, am in currently, well, that might change here soon, but currently in media sales.
What kind of media are you selling?
I am a digital marketing specialist, so to speak. A digital sales director at a company called V Digital Services. Yeah, essentially it's like small to large SEO, social media, Google ads, things of that sort.
So you're an agency, meaning you sell multiple products for different companies. It's not like you have a specific product that you're selling.
Yes and no. We provide strategy, right? So as a digital marketing agency from a B2B perspective, we are providing straight strategy and then execution of the said strategy for that business's end goals and objectives.
Got it. So a company comes to you for a strategy on how to market their product. You guys put all of that together, create the campaign, I assume, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly it. And we're talking a product, more likely a brick and mortar or like location based marketing. We handle a lot of restaurants and dentists and real estate projects, a lot of, you know, B2C commerce in a B2B environment.
Okay. All right. I'm going to guess that as a salesman, you did a lot of traveling around to visit your clients, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Here in Los Angeles, a lot of time in downtown LA and a lot of conferences in Vegas and lead generation conferences, all sorts of types of travel. Yes.
So here's the loaded question, of course. So what happened when the pandemic hit?
Well, luckily our company's headquartered in Phoenix, so I've always been working from home pre pandemic. Have
Okay.
pretty decent office space. I'm conditioned to, keeping myself motivated and we're in the swim lane, so to speak, of what I need to do on a daily basis to succeed. That
Okay.
said, everyone else I deal with isn't or wasn't or still isn't, in a lot of
Yeah.
cases. Yeah. So, I mean, I had an entire strategy of business built for 2020 that I was building into come March, like gaining momentum that just hit a wall, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, have the clients that you've been working with kind of pulled back on all of their advertising, or are they continuing to try to market their products in the midst of all of this? I would think that marketing their products would be even more important now that they have to find different ways to get an audience to them.
Yeah, this is, you and me both. And it definitely is the case. So there's a couple different types of business, right? You think of the location based, like in our neighborhood, right? And a
Yeah.
mail store. I'm looking across the street at the mail place. Like, what are they doing to keep people coming to them instead of going to the post office or UPS store or whatever it is? So those
Right.
people have to market locally, right? And then you have bigger business, like the ones that are truly making money through this pandemic, are the businesses that you see doing commercials on, live TV or Hulu and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, those companies, it's where the rich are getting richer, right? You have the money to do that type of marketing. You're hitting a specific audience based off of who's watching that, whether they're connected through a cable
Yeah.
company or over the top from the connected TV on things like Hulu or Sling and things of that sort,
Right.
or Netflix or whatever it may be. But yeah, so it's like two different routes that people were going, and you would think that it would require, and the businesses that have money have taken advantage of the fact that there's a lot of small to medium sized businesses that don't, that tend to be in the same space. So sadly, it's like the rich get richer in this type of environment.
Right. The big sharks eating the little fish.
Yeah, and the little fish is still trying to stay afloat, and this just made it 10 times harder.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet it did. Um, what technique have any techniques for how you keep in touch with people at work changed since all of this? You're doing a lot of video conferencing, or more than you used to, perhaps.
Yeah, like I said, I have customers all over the country, from Atlanta to Phoenix to Texas, and I mean all over. So I've done a lot of Zoom prior to this. It's pretty normal for me to be talking to people nationally, whether it was a franchise or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
whatever part of the country. But that said, for me as a salesperson, there's parts of my job. There's selling, right? And then
Yeah.
there's client maintenance. So, a
Yep.
lot of my job is spent on finding new business and finding new revenue streams. And in order to do that, it's really about leaning on the inside sales tools rather than outside sales,
Yeah.
which would be more traditional, where, we do a lot of opening up stuff where we would close it face to face. So it's a lot of both.
Okay. Must be harder to close when you don't get to do the face to face part.
Yes, it is. And to be honest, it's like, it's a little bit easier somewhat. It's harder, yes. It's way easier to go see somebody face to face. You get to talk, they get to the trust factor is immediately there when you're talking to somebody versus you're face to face talking to them through the computer.
Right.
However, because of the circumstance of everyone having to talk through the computer, it's kind of made the computer time a little more they're a little more respectful of how hard it is to do what we do without
Oh,
seeing
okay.
them, if that makes sense. So
Yeah. No,
they're
it
they're
does.
having to live in our shoes to a degree as a salesperson, where normally people are like dodging us and get away. I don't want to be
Okay.
sold anything, and really, that's what we didn't sell stuff. We are consultants and strategic. We build strategic alliances with customers and build
Yeah.
relationships that start small and just become a long term friendship over time that benefits both of us.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think your business will ever move back into the offices again after things are considered safe, or do you think this is the new normal?
No, I think a lot of people have already. In our company alone, like our corporate offices in Phoenix, not everyone's there every day. They have a scattered schedule, and they have some COVID protocols when they go in, where they have to check in every day and, temperature, how are you feeling, and
Yeah.
every day they go into the building. So there is protocols in play, and a lot of our offices are at home anyway. Work from
Okay.
home. Like Houston is a work from home. There's a
Yeah.
few others around the
Okay.
country. But our company's back in. It's hard catching people in their company, especially California. Like real estate
Yeah.
companies. I mean, a lot of the professional services are. Lawyers are back.
Yeah.
Dentists. Medical services. They're all back, and they're all hurting. They're
Yeah.
that's every one of them. Like the dentists are doing pretty well right now, actually.
Yeah. Well, so some things you can't put off for too long, right?
Yeah, recession and pandemic proof.
Yep. Yep. How's your family been holding up through all of this?
Uh, you know, it's it, I think we're, all in all, we've pretty healthy mentality through all this, but it's been a struggle. We've had people pass away this year. We've had to do a road trip. My mother-in-law passed away.
Okay.
I think it was like April, right at the beginning of April. So like right at the beginning of this
Yeah.
uh, whole pandemic. So that was that, and now I got two kids in high school. One's a senior, one's a freshman, and they're both dealing with their own challenges. My older daughter has not been able to even take the SATs yet, and is applying to colleges that require the SATs before December. It's an interesting time. And then as a freshman, you know how that is. You go into high
Yeah.
school and you make all your
Yeah.
friends, and they haven't been there yet. Like freshman
Yeah.
year of band, the band deal is a big deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. My daughter, she went through senior year in the middle of the shutdown, right? So everything was normal until around January, and then all of a sudden it all just came crashing to a halt, and she was stuck at home, and there was no graduation, there was no prom, there was, none of the formal stuff happened. So hopefully things will get better in the spring, and at least Sunny will have a good end of the year, even though I
yeah,
know it's hard.
that's what I keep saying too. I think that's the right perspective to have.
Yeah. So you talked about road trips and traveling. What
Yeah,
was it like to travel in the middle of the pandemic?
yeah, it was fucked. I mean, it was we're leaving California. We didn't know what to think. We were nervous about flying. We're like, our kid, like I said, our kids are in high school. This is the perfect time go on a road trip, and I
Yeah.
planned it out. I got the itinerary down. I totally booked all these hotels all over. I was completely set from the whole trip perspective to go. And we're talking like 3 weeks, three and a half, like almost three, a little over 3 weeks,
Okay.
and or right around 3 weeks, I guess. But it was interesting. We left California. We went to Utah, and we get to Utah. Everyone's wearing masks. It was like, okay, this is all right. We're in a hotel. We're all freaked out in a hotel.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure the hotel's as freaked out as we are. But we got in there and had this procedure of cleaning out a hotel, and we brought our own pillows. If you travel anywhere in a hotel, bring your own pillow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a big deal for us. We had pillows, and we did it. And then as we continued east, every state we got to, Colorado was great, and then we got past Colorado into Nebraska. We went down through that way, and it was like there was no pandemic there. It's crazy. No one
Okay.
had a mask. Oh yeah, it's wild.
Is it that there was no pandemic there yet? Had it not reached there yet, or were they all kind of in a denial?
No, there was pandemic there. I mean, as every place we stopped, one of the things we did in our car, well, Sunny did, would check to see what was the COVID count around here, and she'd see what the little roadside town had if they had any COVID cases. And in Google, it's tracked everywhere. You could see every little
Yeah.
town we were in was
Yeah.
happening, and all the roadside towns had it because of people like us traveling. Like
Ah.
the trucker coming through or whatever.
Okay.
Outside of these little towns, it wasn't so much. Like we had a one run in, right? I think it was Nebraska. I can't remember where we were. But the guy was like, "You guys don't need masks here. There's that virus isn't here." We're like, "Well, we're not. We're from California. What if we're bringing it here? That's what Sonny said." I was like,
Huh.
"Shh, don't tell him that." No, but she's like, "I can't believe they don't wouldn't think past the fact that we could have the virus. We're
Yeah.
not, she's like, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about that old guy telling us that."
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
different mentality, and I get it. Rural America. I mean, as we went further in the trip, we were in Iowa. We went up to like northern Wisconsin. We were in southwestern Wisconsin, and nobody was wearing masks anywhere. And we did. We were
Yeah.
pretty
I think
animate about it.
it's kind of been an interesting dichotomy, because in one way, living in a big city, and probably anywhere in the country, you had a bigger reaction to it because a lot of us understood that it was about controlling the spread so that we could control the medical situation, right? Because I think we were all worried about hospitals becoming overwhelmed and then people not being able to get treated for anything, whether it was COVID or, a heart attack. And the more people that live in a community and are dependent on the hospital, the more aware they are of that problem, right? But as you get into these more rural areas where, ironically, there's less medical resources available for them, they also don't make the connection that if everybody in the town gets sick at the same time, not everybody's going to be able to get taken care of because it's not going to work the way it used to work.
Yeah, 100%. And I know what it's like there. Sadly, we had an emergency where Katie's stepmom passed out and hit her head really hard. And we had to
Okay.
call 911. Like, she was unconscious.
Yeah.
And I could not believe how long it took them to get there. And luckily, like, a first responder did quickly. But if anything happens in those little areas, it's
Yeah.
scary. It's scary. And then you're going to hospitals that are, they don't have the most advanced care. And
Right.
I mean, there's a
Right.
lot of factors against you. But that said, Katie, my wife's grandmother, 92 years old, caught COVID there somehow. And she's healed from it. Like, she doesn't have it anymore. She's
Oh,
gotten out of the
excellent.
hospital. Yeah, she is in like a recovery, like a rehab center, kind of
Yeah.
getting her space
Yeah.
back. But I don't think, I think she's been allowed back into a public space.
So
Yeah.
when she got sick, did she get? I mean, obviously she got sick enough to wind up in the hospital, but she was 92. You said so. I mean,
Yeah. It was,
anything can put you in a hospital at 92.
yeah, exactly. And this woman is tough as nails. She's been
Yeah.
through a lot, and yeah, she didn't know she was sick because she doesn't hear very well either. And she just wasn't feeling it. She's just tired. And Katie's aunt went in, and those two hang out all together a lot. They live very close. Katie's aunt went in for ankle surgery. She had
Yeah.
a surgery on her ankle, and they gave her a COVID test, and she had it. She's like, "What?"
And she
She
had
didn't
no
know that.
symptoms, right?
No
Yeah.
symptoms, and she's in
Yeah.
her 60s, and or 60 years old probably. And then yeah, I mean, it was just crazy that could be. And then obviously her mom had it too because they didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
This is a wacky illness. The way
oh
it
my
affects
god,
some people and
yeah,
doesn't affect others. Yep. It's
yeah,
going to keep us on
especially,
our toes for a while.
yeah. And the 92-year-old woman obviously landed in the hospital with it twice. She left and went home and went back, and then rehab center. She lives alone still at 92.
Oh, more
Yeah,
power to her, man. That's
yeah.
kind of cool. How do the next 6 months look to you?
Pretty good. It's funny enough. I just talked about my previous job. I'm starting a new job on Monday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, through all the ups and downs of this pandemic and media, and I was I was in a slingshot getting ready to take off, and it just like broke. With
Yeah.
COVID is best explanation to having an opportunity at this new company. It's like e-learning company that they're
Okay.
simplification experts. They help companies put complex processes, information, in easy to digest formats and communication for their employees.
Is this something that you get to take some of your existing customer base that you've worked with in the past into the space? Does it fit?
Uh, not really, actually. It is, today I would work with a lot of small to large business owners, but it's usually I'm working with business owners, or even marketing directors that are close, like not so
Hmm.
many big public companies. And the company I'm going to is called Simple Show.
Okay.
Really cool company. They're headquartered in Berlin, but it started in Luxembourg. They're in 9 countries nationally. Very smart, innovative company. I'm really excited about it. But that said, they deal with more like Fortune 1000 companies,
Okay.
or yeah, organizations that have 10,000 to 100,000 of employees internationally.
Cool. Very cool. I will make sure I list them on our liner notes when we push this up on the stream.
Awesome.
Um, so, what are you and the family missing the most these days that you're looking forward to hopefully getting back again?
Well, I can answer that two ways, right? Well, I guess it kind of combines. For me, it's marching band for the kids.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I really miss marching band for them. I mean, Sunny, it's how it is. It's their
Yeah,
family, and yeah, they're seeing each other, but they're not playing music. They're
yeah,
not having the opportunity to, the camaraderie of creating, uh, something that hits it on the head together. When
yeah,
they nail it, they nail it, and that's a
yeah,
awesome, triumphant feeling for teenagers, and I think they're
yeah,
missing that a little bit.
yeah, yeah. I bet they are. I know. As I said, the end of last year, marching season was over, but all of the performance bands and the competitions were lost last year, and we definitely missed that as well. So, well, hopefully, some innovative teacher out there will come up with the right solution that'll give these kids a chance to have some fun. I know I've noticed that other sports teams out of the high school have gotten limited use of the fields to practice
Yeah.
a little bit. And since marching band is considered a sport at the high school, maybe something good will happen there, and they'll get at least to in some size of group get together. I mean, the problem is the marching band is like 150 kids.
Yeah.
It's just a really large core. It's hard to put that many people together.
And it's all aerosol spit.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, I don't. Between you and I don't see any instruments other than drum corps and maybe the pit crew in the front that plays the xylophones,
Yeah.
getting to play instruments in any kind of performance. Yeah, none of the wind instruments.
Sony did tell me about, I think it was Grace, Grace Bugan, from last year's band,
Yeah,
is in Arizona somewhere, or University of Arizona, somewhere like that. And I think, yeah, Tucson, University of Arizona. And
yeah.
they're practicing in small groups, and they have covers over the bells, and
Yes,
they
yeah.
have a
I've seen that.
mask that has it's like a double layer mask with a little
Yeah.
spot for the reed, or the whatever is coming through there.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. I've also seen like well, watching Saturday Night Live, they've got the band back together on the stage there, and they've put up like plexiglass partitions
That's a good
around
idea. Yeah,
around the different instruments so that they have some protection. I mean, we're gonna figure these things out. We're gonna solve these problems. We just need to get our act together and go and put our minds to it, right? I think
yeah. I think you're
maybe
right.
it gets better in a couple of months when things change and things settle down a little bit, maybe, and the world gets quieter, and maybe I'm just being too optimistic for my own good. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
You know.
other areas are just doing it, and just going at it. Places like Florida and Texas, right or wrong. I'm not saying either ways, but I mean, the only way to figure something out is to plan and do, and then
Yeah.
replan and
Exactly.
redo.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I don't know
Yep.
what else to say about it. But
Yeah.
the other thing, on a personal level, I miss concerts. Like, I'm a big music fan. I love music. It's
Yeah.
every extra nickel I have, I'm not seeing my family. It's usually going towards live music, and that, I don't. Starting to trickle back in these drive-in concerts, but
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't see music really coming back till maybe next fall, or
Yeah.
next summer. The outdoor shows next summer, probably spring and summer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have the feeling by next summer, even if it's in this weird drive-in format, right? They'll have the process down enough that you'll have a lot more shows scheduling themselves. I miss movies. I'm really, really miss going to the movies. It's funny. My wife and I went over to one of the outdoor malls today because I needed to pick something up at a shop, and it was only at that shop at that particular mall. And the movie theater there, of course, is closed because in LA County, at least, all movie theaters are still closed. But the marquee was like a snapshot of last Thanksgiving. Right, it was all of the movies up on the marquee were the movies that were up
Wow.
at the end of 2019. Right, so it's kind of like this is just really surreal. Everybody walking around in masks. A movie theater that's like a year out of date. It's just really strange. We're living in strange times.
Yeah, I think some of the theaters have opened in some parts of the country.
Yeah, they tried. They've started opening in other parts of the country, the studios have been holding back on giving them new releases because they're waiting for there to be enough theaters open for them to make any money. The only really big new movie that came out was the Christopher Nolan movie Tenant, which came out in the end of the summer. But like, I think is it Regal that just decided to reshut down everything because the studios have pushed all of their movies out into next year. Because
Yeah.
for them, the cost of doing the release versus the bang for the buck on the return on movie theaters that are only filled to 25% if they're open at all. And I know in California, at least in LA County, San Diego County had theaters open because I've got a friend down there who went to see some movies, but LA County is still closed because our numbers aren't good enough yet, I guess.
I mean, I don't know how. I guess I would. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to too many inside places, and we're so put like we have fear bubble on us right now. I have a
Yeah.
friend of mine was just in Hawaii for 3 weeks or a month, and he had to go through the process of getting tested and then quarantining for a little bit and getting retested and making sure he was okay. And then once he was okay, they let him loose.
Right.
And no one's wearing masks because they've already went through this process, and it's not spreading on the island at all,
Okay.
or in the islands, but in Kauai, that area. But when he got there, he felt very nervous for being in front of anybody and like at dinner and like with strangers, and he had an anxiety attack, and he's never had anxiety attacks or anything like that, and he had social anxiety because of COVID and not
Wow.
being what he thought protected, and it did. He was safe. Like everyone didn't.
Yeah.
You don't need to be protected when it's okay. It's. I wonder how long that's going to go on, and I'm
Yeah.
hearing somebody else talk of that experience. I could see myself experiencing that to a degree.
Yeah. I so can I. I imagine that that first time when you're going back out in public and you're not wearing a mask anymore because you don't have to, after what'll be a year and a half of wearing a mask all the time, is going to be a really strange feeling. Yeah, I guess getting back to whatever the new normal is going to be is also going to have its challenges, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're getting ready. We're going to go visit my mom soon, and we're just contemplating this airplane trip and having like N95 masks and face
Yeah,
shields and like taking a
yeah,
couple days before you see her, and it's like just wear the N95 and just go. We'll be fine.
yeah, yeah. Airplanes are supposed to be pretty good, with the air circulation and the filtering and all that they have in them. But I'm in that. I have that same kind of worry about that particular mode of transit. Right. I haven't been on an airplane since a year ago this past summer, but that first flight back, especially if we're all still in masks and everything, is going to be weird. I think.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Is there anything that I can plug for you? We've talked about your business. Anything else you want to share with
Um,
the world that we can direct them to a look
No,
at?
I just think I think the world needs to stay positive and wake up every day and feel good about no matter what it is that we to a degree we control our perspective and our thresholds and our limits and how far we can go through all this weirdness that I think in the end there will be there will be some wins after all this. I truly believe that. So,
Cool. Cool. That's a good way to look at the world and a great way to end the podcast. Coop, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. It was good
yeah,
talking to you.
my pleasure. We'll talk soon.